Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and it's 10 to 8. It's at night. We're in October. There's only one game I can think of playing, and it's Symphony of the Night. I fucking love this game. And I don't think a lot of people who play this game don't end up liking it to some extent. That's just how good it is. Cause it's great. So we're going to be playing yeah, Symphony of the Night. PS1 release. I know like the PS4 version's coming out in later October, but I wanted to play it right now. And this version, like I only learned recently, they're using the PSP voice acting for the PS4 version, which is weird. Like they said like they couldn't get a hold of the original files, which I mean fair if they don't have a choice about it. And I don't think like the voice acting is bad in the PSP version. Like you have Yuri Lowenthal as Alucard, and I think Patrick Seitz is Dracula. I'm not too sure, but I will always prefer the original. Not just because of like nostalgia or because it's cheesy, but because I actually do like Alucard's voice in this game. It's super deep. Like Robert Belgrade's voice is just I don't know why I made that sound. But yeah, now we're treated to a college project at a fucking 3D animation class, because this castle doesn't look too great. There's only 2 FMVs in the entire game, and both of them are shots of this. I mean, it's like 97, so you can't blame them too much, but yeah, the castle doesn't look too good. Oh god, look at those bats. They're not even, they're like 2D little objects. But yeah, this actually doesn't start at the beginning of Symphony of the Night's own story. It actually starts at the end of Rondo of Blood, which is why in the PS4 release it's being released with Rondo of Blood. So yeah, we're not starting as Alucard. We're starting as Richter Belmont on his way to fulfill his destiny and beat Dracula one more time. Final stage, Bloodlines. That's a mistranslation. It's supposed to say Rondo of Blood, but it says Bloodlines, which is the name of another Castlevania game that was already out at this point. But yeah, we're just gonna be playing as Richter for a little bit. This section doesn't really mean too much if you're a new time player. You won't have to worry about picking up any of Richter's moves, because this section that's going to happen soon is so pathetically easy to win. It's there to like fill in a gap, basically. Although weirdly enough, Richter has more moves than he had in Rondo of Blood. Like, he couldn't run before, he couldn't flail his whip around, he couldn't do this, he couldn't slide, he couldn't do a bunch of other shit. I have no idea, because like there is a Richter mode in this game where you can play as him in the castle. I just found it a bit weird that like they gave him all these new moves. But yeah, we won't be using any of these though. There's only one thing we need Richter to do, and I think most of you who have heard of this game in any capacity can, like, guess.
Die, monster! You don't belong in this world.
It was not by my hand that I'm once again given flesh. I was called here by humans who wish to pay me tribute.
Tribute? You steal men's souls and make them your slaves.
Perhaps the same could be said of all religions.
Your words are as empty as your soul. Mankind ill needs a savior such as you.
What is a man? A miserable little pile of secrets. But enough talk. Have at you.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't feel like talking during that. I mean, it's classic. Unfortunately, that line is not going to be in the PS4 version, so, those of you looking for the true Castlevania experience might have to pay, €10 for this. Or not. I mean, I don't think it's that much of a loss, but it's a bit sad. Now, I don't know what I was doing hitting Dracula normally, because what you're really supposed to do is grab the, holy water and spam Hydrostorm, which is done by pressing triangle after you pick it up. It costs some hearts to use, but it's so ridiculously powerful you won't have to use it that much. If you die during this segment, Maria will come in. Maria Renard is Richter's friend. She will come in, she will make Richter immune to attack and make his attacks much stronger. In that case, you can't lose, and you're going to win anyway. But you can also... The fastest way to do this, without a doubt, everyone does it, if you know how to do it, it's Hydro Storm. You pick up the Holy Water, you press triangle, and you use the item crash. But yeah, Richter beat Dracula. It was Richter Belmont, the legendary vampire hunter, who succeeded in finally ending the menace of Count Dracula, Lord of the Vampires, who had been brought back from the grave by the Dark Priest. Shit! However, one night, 4 years later, under the glare of the full moon, Richter mysteriously vanished. With no idea of where to begin her search, Maria Renard set out to look for him. It was then that fate intervened. Castlevania, the Castle of Dracula, which is rumored to appear once every century, suddenly materialized from out of the mist, as if to show her the way. Meanwhile, powerful forces were struggling for the soul of a man named Alucard, the very same Alucard who had teamed up with Trevor Belmont to battle his immortal father, Count Vlad Tepes Dracula. That's actually being animated in the Castlevania Netflix series, Trevor Belmont and Alucard. Alucard, in order to purge the world of his cursed bloodline, had submerged his vampire powers and entered in what was supposed to be an eternal slumber, but now he is awake and aware of the evil once again work in his homeland. The time has come for once again for the forces of good and evil to engage in their ancient battle. Dracula's castle beckons for you, and no man can say who shall emerge victorious. Yeah, don't do that voice, ladies and gentlemen, it hurts. But yeah, after Richter won, 4 years later, he just disappeared out of nowhere, and Castlevania came back. For the record, Castlevania is supposed to appear every 100 years, not every 4, so something's going on. And Alucard, he put himself to sleep because he believed the Belmonts would handle everything. They're not, obviously, so he woke up and decided to investigate himself. And that's where Symphony of the Night begins. I love this game. But yeah, now we begin with Alucard running at incredibly high speeds. I hope you don't get used to this because he never does this ever again. Now, if the game looks like it's running a bit weirdly, that's because I am technically running off the European PAL version, because that's the one I bought. I'm Irish after all, so that's the version they have at the store. So I do apologize if you veterans are like, why is Alucard moving slightly slower than usual? That's because this is the PAL version. Running off the PS3. But yeah, you begin, and you've noticed that Alucard controls nothing like Richter in the slightest. He controls way better. He uses a sword, he uses a shield, he can backdash, jump, etc. But also, he can equip multiple things, because this is what you'd call a Metroidvania. This is the thing that coined the term, along with Metroid itself. So yeah, Alucard can wear different pieces of equipment, and he starts off super buffed. Like, he has some of the best equipment in the game, actually. The Alucard sword and the Alucard shield, along with the mail and etc. Now, you may be wondering, gee, how am I teleporting across the place? That's because a lot of swords and weapons in this game have secondary effects. If you do a quarter circle, you'll do the teleport. It'll take you to the right side of the screen, and you'll be immune to damage while you do some stats. It'll cost magic to use, though. The Alucard shield just deflects projectiles, nothing more. If you get hit, it just launches off. But yeah, right now, this is just like an introduction to the castle itself. You can press select, you can check your map, see where you are. It's pretty decent. Get some money. Defeat these zombies that keep spawning. They're random, so like you can't really deal with them, but also you're just instantly killing them anyway. If you're a first-time player, I would recommend, though, is that while you have the Alucard equipment, maybe level up once or twice, like just for beginners specifically, because Alucard at the beginning, like he can become a monster of destruction at the end, but at the beginning, he's a bit weak. Not say weak, but like first-timers can find themselves being overwhelmed, probably by the first boss, actually. So I'd recommend going down here and killing these things because they keep spawning. No, obviously I don't need to, but like I'm just telling you that, okay, this is where you go, because this is where like these guys show up. I can't remember their names. I mean, well, that's kind of the weird thing is that Symphony of the Night was released in 1997. This is before like accurate localizations were really a thing. So some of these monsters actually have different names than how they are usually called nowadays. Like I know, like I think the epoch, whatever enemies. They're not called those. They're called gremlins in this version of the game. But yeah, right now we have no need of these enemies. They're too weak. In fact, if you want to go really fast, I'd recommend you do this. The Alucard can do the backdash. It's faster than his normal walk. If you keep spamming it, you'll move faster. But not only that, if you cancel the backdash with a shield, you can just backdash repeatedly and it'll just make you move faster. Like, I think everyone knows when it comes to Metroidvanias, like, this is a common trick. Everyone does this. Well, not everyone, but, you know, most people who've played this game once or twice know that, okay, this is how you move fast on the ground. Not just by spamming the backdash, but by doing this. I'll try not to do it too much, because it's kind of annoying to look at. But it's really fun. But now we have a familiar cutscene. I'll mute myself because I love these too much.
Ah, Alucard. What is your business here?
I've come to put an end to this.
Still befriending mortals. I'll not ask you to return to our side, but I demand you cease your attack.
I will not.
You shall regret those words. We will meet again.
Yeah, he took our hit. Death has stripped us of our equipment. I don't know how he can do that, and I don't know why he didn't do it when we fight him later, but now Alucard's much weaker than he was before. The only thing he can do now is punch. Kick. So, yeah. We're going to have to get all that equipment back. That's what I meant when I said that he has the endgame equipment now, because you get it much later on back, but right now we have to make our way back up. There is a trick that you can do, by just... Well, it's two things. In the PSP version, and this is kind of disgraceful on their end, if you just backdash really quickly as that cutscene begins, you'll exit the room and keep your equipment, and the cutscene will end and you can walk out and keep your equipment. That's the PSP version. In the PS1 version, you need luck mode on in order to skip it. You can't skip it normally. So, no matter what, if you're playing the game normally, Alucard will always lose his equipment here. Luckily, we get a short sword to start ourselves off. See, I forget that the backup button in this game is triangle, not circle. But yeah, we set that to square, and there we go. I love the song is called Dracula's Castle in the OST. It plays during like the entrance, and it's just so good. In Castlevania games, when they have you enter the castle for the first time, they always have like a really great song. That's a two-handed sword. I'm not gonna use that. And this is our save point. It heals you fully and saves your game. One thing I neglected to mention, and it's an odd time to mention it here, but depending on how well you fight Dracula in Richter's section, that determines Alucard's starting stats to some degree. It's not really a big thing though. Like you may have noticed, I started with a neutron bomb, even though I never picked it up. That's because of how I killed Dracula. I think it's like... I'm not too sure what puts the neutron bomb in your inventory. I just know that if you do something specific in the Alucard, in the Richter fight, you get that. But yeah, now we just got the Cube of Zoe, whatever. It lets you get items from candles, which is strange. You just get that normally in every other Castlevania game. But now we begin the first section of the game. Alchemy Laboratory. I fucking love this place. I just love it. I'm just gonna turn off the game audio a little bit here because I need to hear this. I absolutely need to hear this. Just good. Now, right now the only two things Alucard can really do are hit people with his fists and whack them with the sword. The sword does more damage than the fist, but it's slower, so if you can manage it, try punching them a lot. You'll kill them fast. And these red skeletons, they're completely immune to damage. Like, if you knock them down, they'll just get back up. You can't ever kill them. I've just picked up their hide cuirass, I don't know how to pronounce it. It's just a piece of equipment for Alucard. Okay, is that switch for the spikes or is it for the elevator? Oh, it's the elevator, okay. This is for the spikes. And that's the shield. I'm not gonna put that on yet. I want to keep my fists. Hang on a moment. There we go. Yeah, I'm not used to recording like PS3 playing PS1, so I don't know how the audio is gonna go, so it might be bad in this episode and better in the next. It just depends on how things end up. But yeah, I'm going to be trying to get as much of the map completed as I can, but don't count on it too much. I know, this is a bit weird, because, you're not really meant to use this elevator all that much. Well, sort of. Yeah. You can't really reach that right now. God, I love the fucking detail on Alucard. Like, the game on the PAL version kind of runs slightly slower, but that also means that you can see the fucking amount of detail. Just every single frame of Alucard's movement. You know, when he walks, when the aftermath image comes, the hair, like when he goes down, it just floats all the way down onto his back. I know it sounds like I'm just admiring Alucard's beautiful detail, but like, it just, like, for the first time that they're doing something like this, a Metroidvania, they just did not give up on the detail, you know? And that's not to say that the DS games are bad by any extent. I love those too, but there's a reason that people consider this one of the best, probably the best they ever did, because look at all this. It's just beautiful. It's especially cool because, like, I think it was a case where, Sony was trying to push away from 3D games, and I'm not too sure, because, like, obviously, there were rumors about, like, Sony, like, telling companies, it's like, okay, only 3D games, and then, like, they're like, oh, then we just won't make games for your console if you don't let us do 2D. You know, there were rumors about that going around all the time. I'm not too sure about it. I just know that for a game released in, like, a time where 3D games were coming out, they just knocked it out of the park. Like, there's just so much more to talk about, because, like, I've known this game for years. You know, we have our first cape. It's a cloth cape. Now, one thing that Alucard's equipment doesn't ever change no matter what you wear. His capes always will. So now we have this cloth cape. You can, do this. Yeah, okay. No, this... I really shouldn't be gushing on details so much, or we're going to be spending forever here. But when Alucard presses up, he does this pose. But near an edge, for some reason, he does this, and if you press up, he pulls his cape here. And, like, I'm telling you, yeah, it's like, normally he'll just do this. But for some reason, he'll do this on edges. It's just... It's such a meaningless detail, but they put it there anyway. I love it. Yeah, I'm just a tiny bit rusty. Tiny bit. I am no fool. Oh. Punch, punch. Set you on fire. You may have noticed earlier, we picked up a sub-weapon. That's the knife. Alucard, like Richter, can pick up a bunch of sub-weapons. He doesn't do item crashes, like he can't do, Holy Storm like, Richter can, but he can do different things. Did I miss something? I don't know if I did, because, like, this game has so many secrets, including breakable walls. Like, you saw the wall I broke earlier. That's just one of many. So I need to start remembering where they are exactly. But yeah, it's ridiculous, just the amount of things Alucard can do. Along with the equipment, he has spells, sub-weapons, familiars, everything. God, I don't even want to get into the spells. I can't even remember how to do most of them. Alright, that's summon spirits. Yeah, I haven't remembered most of the spells, which is good for most people who want a Let's Play that isn't just me spamming Soul Steal, because I can't really do it. Or rather, if I did it, my controller would probably break because of how sensitive it is. But yeah, it's like... Alucard has a bunch of spells on him that the game doesn't really tell you about. Well, it does. Like, it's in your spells list, and any spells you do get put here. Like, left, right, up, down is Summon Spirit. It'll attack the enemy. There are also another one you can do. That's also that. This. Is it this? No. This. That's not it. That's it. That's probably the one you're going to do first. That's Dark Metamorphosis. If any blood gets spilled on Alucard during this state, he'll heal himself. And usually, like a slicing weapon, like a sword, will cause blood to spill from the enemy, and you can heal yourself from that. It's not that useful, but it's nice to have. Like, these guys don't spill blood. Yeah, and also, fun fact, this is our first boss fight. Slagra and Gaibin. One thing I love is that the fucking Castlevania Netflix show, Season 2, the teaser for it had Alucard fighting these two, which is another shout-out to this game. And, like, they were even carrying, like, who was even carrying Slagra again? It's fucking, like, just the love put into Castlevania. It makes me so happy, you know? It's just good. But yeah, I'm just gonna punch these guys to death. There's, it's the fastest way to do it because, again, like, the fists are just, they're not as strong as the sword, but the sword's much slower. When I get, like, a better weapon, later, like the combat knife or whatever it was called, that'll do the job better than the fists. And I'll probably swap out the shield at that point. But yeah, I just, punched some demons to death. How was your morning? Yeah, we're good. Now, let's see if I can't try something else. Nope. That's Dark Metamorphosis again. Let's try this. That's also not it. I'm trying to remember, was it this? No. Yeah, I'm gonna have to, like, look it up later to see how to do Hellfire, because that's an essential spell, I think. Nope. Yeah, I keep doing Dark Metamorphosis. Yeah, see, that's the thing, is that, when I first played the game, I did Dark Metamorphosis by accident. I was just fucking fiddling around trying to get away from an enemy, and I accidentally, pressed attack, and I activated Dark Metamorphosis, and I was like, what the fuck's this? Because Alucard technically has all of his spells. Like, every single one he has right now. The game doesn't tell you how to do them, though. You have to buy, the spell in a shop, so you learn how to do it. Or, if you want to be efficient, look them up on the internet and do them anyway. Whenever you do them, they get put in the spell list. And Alucard has some broken spells, like he has Soul Steal, which, is basically continuously attacks all enemies on the screen and steals all their health and gives them to Alucard, which is the best one, obviously. There's Hellfire, which is a teleport that lets you shoot fireballs, which is really good. There's a powerful version of Summon Spirits that lets you summon 3 at once instead of 1. I'm trying to remember, because there's so many. Well, not so many. There's like 5 or 6, but they're really strong. Also, this is the area we couldn't get to earlier with the elevator. This is the Basilar. It's stronger than your fists and fast. So you'll probably be using this instead of the short sword. Oh, that... Okay, there we go. That's a good one. What was that again? Hellfire. Up, down... Yeah, I knew it was up, down, something. That's why I kept doing Summon Spirits. But yeah, Hellfire is a good one. Now, there's 2 types of Hellfire. If you don't do anything, you'll fire Tree. Which covers more bases, but it doesn't hit... Like, it won't break through the enemy and hit things behind it. Excuse me. If you hold up during Hellfire, you'll get a more powerful variant. It's the Dark Balls that you saw earlier. That's the more powerful variant that, breaks through enemies and does more damage. And, oh god, I've been talking a lot. But yeah, that's the end of, today's part. We'll see you next time for Symphony of the Night. Data saved. And off we go.